All right, I'm back again, and today we're going to talk about 20 things you need to know. Well, you need to learn about finance in your 20s that can help you in your 30s. And before I get into this, hey, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your business consultant, and I'm just some guy on YouTube. Now, these are the 20 things I learned that helped me in my finance to get me to millionaire status by the time I was in my 30s. So, number one, make every dollar you earn have a purpose. I can't talk about this enough. Instead of using your money randomly, you should use your money with a purpose. So, every dollar should have a purpose, and that will help you in the future. Now, that will assist you to understand not to splurge your money on partying all the time, drinking all the time. I'm not saying don't go out and party and don't do that, but you shouldn't spend all your money. Your paycheck, you shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck, and that is a way to help you. Now, number two is set a financial goal. Now, to help you set financial goals, that would be something like a budget. So you should have short term, long term goals and check your progress often. You might not have to check it every day, but weekly, monthly, you should check your goals because in your 20s, if you want a house by the time you're 30, you need to start thinking about, hey, how do I save this money in my 20s so I can buy a house? I know people who bought houses in their 20s and saved their money and lived with their parents for 2 or 3 years and saved $50,000, $60,000 for a down payment on a house. And that's, they set a financial goal and they got there. And number three, to help you get to that goal, is to establish a budget. Without a budget, you don't really know what you're doing with your money. You don't know what your risk on overspending, underspending, or you don't know what you're doing. Everyone should have a budget. Even if it's not written down, everyone should have a mental budget at the bare minimum. And to be honest, in your 20s, you should be writing down your budget and you should be paying attention to your finance so you don't build any bad habits. Because bad habits can lead you into debt where in your 30s you can't afford a house because you have too much debt. Now, number four is save money every month. In your 20s, you should be saving money every month. You should be saving 10% into your investment and 10% to your retirement and 10% into your emergency fund until you get that 3 or 6 months. And then you can keep that 10% into investing into something else like saving into a house, or you can move your retirement account up to 20 or 15% and use your money on something else. But you need to set a goal for your money. You need to save money every month. And that's how you start to get that compounding interest. And number five is you need to start contributing to your retirement now. There's in your 20s, the compound interest is so much better by the time you get into your 60s. By the time you get in your 50s, it's really hard to save for your retirement and you have to throw a large amount of money in there. And especially if you hit in your 30 and you don't have anything in your retirement, you're just that much behind to get into retirement. And some people say, I'll never retire. That's not a good mindset. Now, number six is protect your saving account. It's very easy to dip into it. And normally I tell you put your emergency account into another account you don't see every day. Because it have tendency of people say, oh, I have this in the bank account, I can just use it right now. No, you need to protect your saving account because your savings account is for your future. Now, that's why you have number seven, your emergency fund. If you have your emergency funds, you don't dip into your saving account because your saving account is for your future needs, like a house, a car, or something like that, and you're building your saving account. You don't want to keep dipping into it. I ran into this issue, so I had to put in separate accounts. Now I put my emergency funds for unexpected expenses because you should have an emergency fund, you should have a saving account, and you should have a regular checking account. Those are three bank accounts you should have. And number eight, every little amount of money you spend in your 20 matters. That $5 towards debt helps you pay off it faster. That $5 into your saving account help you for your future. That $5 into your retirement account. Yes, it sounds kind of stupid, but every dollar counts in your 20s to help you retire with a better amount of money. Now in your 50s and 60s, that $5 will not do as much. So you need to worry about that in your 20s, not in your 50s and 60s as much. And you don't want to worry about in your 50s, 60s about that $5. You want to worry about it now in your 20s, and this will help you out. Number 9 is get starting investing now. That's just the earlier you start investing in your retirement account into real estate, the better off you'll be, because the cost of goods is going up. The cost of houses is going up. And the earlier you can get into these markets, the better off you'll be and the better you can get into a bigger house, because your first house is the hardest house to get into. And that's because it's extreme on your budget. You don't have any assets, and a house is one of your major assets and one of your most, and if you don't have it rented out, it's your most liable, it's a liability. So you just have to figure out how you want to risk it. And that takes me to number 10, become self-efficient. Because you can't just keep living off your parents in your 20s. Your parents have their own payroll, their own issues, and you can't just live off them forever. So you have to do things on your own. So your financial needs, your financial goals should be your financial goals, and you need to get off your parents. You need to get off their cell phone bills. You need to get off the insurance so they can move on with their life. Now, number 11 is take calculated risk. Don't just jump into a venture capital. Don't just jump into a bunch of business. Take calculated risk. Act like you only get 3, 4, 5 risks in your life so you can pick and choose the proper things to get into. Not everything's going to be a home run in the park, and not everything's going to be in your favor. So you need to calculate your risk. Now, number 12 is get insured. And what does that mean? You need to get protection for yourself. That means insurance. That means you need to get liability insurance for your cars. Get these things you need to protect yourself so you don't get personally sued. Because you will get into the instance where you get in a car accident and you don't want to be sued because you don't have insurance. You don't want to go to the hospital because you don't have insurance and not being able to afford it and getting yourself in debt, because that's a big issue in your 20s that people don't think about. I'm healthy. Well, one car accident away, one major, incident can get you sick. You can get hurt playing sports. All this stuff can cause you to go in major debt. Number 13, shop with a list. Don't go to the store hungry. Shop with a list so you don't overspend, because that builds bad habits of going to the store and just picking up random things. I know people who make 6 figures that don't make a shopping list. They just go in there and they just buy a bunch of random stuff. Guess what happens? They end up spending money on useless crap. And it just sits there in their house doing nothing. You don't want to do that. And number 14 is always look for deals. If you keep looking for these deals, you can save yourself money. Don't feel bad using coupons. Don't feel bad holding up the line. Look for these deals that can save you money over the course of your lifetime. These deals is good habits to get into. Maybe one week you see beef on sale. Maybe one week you see chicken on sale. These are the weeks you get a little bit more, put it in a freezer so you can save your money in the long run. Because remember, it's a monthly expense for groceries, and you try to break it down so you can get more out of your money, so you don't have to go grocery shopping every day and rely on what the market is doing. If you buy grocery ahead, you can freeze meat. You can separate, get a 5-pound ground beef, 20-pound ground beef, and break it up for more. As long as you can save money, and that's your deals you need to look for. Stop buying such a little bulk that you only eat for one day. If you're going out every day out to eat, that's not good either. Look for these deals. You can find deals, go to restaurants, save yourself money. Now, number 15 is don't rely on credit cards. Credit cards is you borrowing money. It's a company or a bank allowing you to have a line of credit. And that will develop bad habits if you use your credit cards as your own cash. You're going to get yourself in debt. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Do not do that. That is a big issue. Now, number 16, get your important documents in order for your future. Because if you can't get your documents in order and then you try to buy a house in your 30s, you're not going to be able to find the documents. You're going to be running everywhere for it. You're going to be asking your parents for it. If you need it in your 20s, take care of your own and get yourself in order. Now, that's is very uncomfortable to do. And number 17 is try to do uncomfortable things. I know most people in their 20s are broke and it's doing weird by saving 25% of your income so you can put into your car and live without a car payment. I know it's weird to pay off your car loans early. I know it's weird to save money, but you have to be uncomfortable in your 20s if you want to be more comfortable in your 30s, more comfortable in your 40s, because the more you suffer early on, the less suffering you have to do later. In hindsight, unless you get a bad spouse and they spend all your money, that's a different story. And that leads me into number 18. Pick a good significant other because they can lead you down into the worst financial stories of your life you ever heard. They can spend all your money. They can do all this bad things. They could always want to go out to eat. They can always want to do all these other things. Pick a good significant other so that you can save money and have a goal together. Because the issue is in America is people aren't dating to get married. People are dating to date for fun. And this is why the Japanese culture always says, I'm dating for marriage. This is where you need to put in your mind, I'm dating for marriage. And if they get with you and say, hey, I don't really know if I'm ready to get married, move forward. Stop wasting your time because your goal in your 20s is date for marriage, date for getting engaged. If you think dating for fun, dating to fool around, you're going to get yourself in financial hardship. You're going to get yourself in some trouble. And if you find a man or woman that has the same mindset, hey, I'm dating for marriage, y'all are on the same mindset. That means they're more likely that it's going to be your significant other in the future and you won't get yourself in that hardship. Number 19, pay your bills on time. You pay your bills on time, your credit's good. You don't have to be worried about, hey, what's my credit score? Well, you shouldn't be worrying about your credit score if you're paying all your bills on time. You're paying your credit card on time. You're paying your car note on time. Those help your credit score. That's just one of the things you have to do. Pay your bills on time, put in auto pay, do all these things so you don't get a missed payment. And lastly, number 20, find a balance with your life. It's very important in 20 to find a work-life balance with a significant other so you don't go into hardship, so you can enjoy your life. Take your time in your 20s. Don't rush anything and try to save money as best you can and budget so that your 30s will be easier. You have to remember, anything you do in your 20s make your 30s easier. If you're going to college in your 20s, you're setting yourself for a career in your 30s so you can save more money. So your early 20s, if you go to college, it's fine. You can't save as much, but that's investing in yourself. So you're finding a good work-life balance in your 20s that you can do in your 30s. Because in your 30s, you might be having kids and your work-life balance is going to be hectic. And then in your 40s, it doesn't get any easier. So you try to make it suffer a little bit in your 20s so you can make your 30 years easier and make your 40 years easier. And this is the thing you need to understand about life. Life is not easy. You will have a up and down. So in your 20s, these are the things you kind of need to do. These are my tips for your finances, for your future. Now, you might not like it. Hey, it is what it is. But like, subscribe to my videos. And these are the 20 things I think that'll help you in your finance in your 20s. That'll help you in order yourself in your 30s. All right. Thanks for watching.